Is home birthing something that's a bit wacky and just wild, a bit out there? Another question: do dads have a role to play in home birthing? So my name's Steve. I'm going to answer these questions. My and the quick answer to those is that no, home birthing isn't wacky and like hippie. It's actually something that's been that's basically it's the way things have been going on, the way women have been having babies for hundreds and hundreds of years. Okay, we've now got the all the advances of modern technology, um, and most as it stands today, currently most women do have their babies in hospital. Um, but anyway, that's the point. You know, it's actually better to have a home birth, and there's a lot of reasons for that. I'm going to give all of those reasons. But yeah, it's not wacky, and should do dads have a role? Yeah, they do. Yeah, yeah. And I'm a dad, and our baby, she was born a year and 4 months ago. So and I've been trying to give this talk a few times actually, and I've recorded it a few times. But this time I'm gonna this is the my last attempt to make a talk that I'm happy with. But yeah, so it's happened a year and 4 months ago. We had our baby, and we had a wonderful experience. We had a home birth with a pool, and so I want to tell everybody about it because part of the thing of having if you're thinking about having a home birth, thinking of not going to hospital, then part of the whole preparation is to listen to other people's positive home birth stories. Because the biggest thing, the biggest barrier for me anyway was just like the kind of um, no, we should, everyone goes to hospital. We'll go to hospital like everybody else. This kind of thing, and that barrier of anxiety. We can't have the baby at home. Everybody goes to hospital. That's what you should do. That's what everybody does. This barrier of thinking that it's not safe, or it's not even possible. I mean, in the UK, the NHS offer a home birthing service, so people who want to have a home birth, they can ask for that. Ask a doctor, or otherwise. I mean, I do know people who haven't even told, like who are going to have a baby. They haven't even liaised at all with the medical professional people, and they're just getting on with it. Well, I mean, they feel very people like that must feel very confident. Maybe they've had experience of home birthing themselves, and then they're in that position of confidence to feel they could do that. I'm the opposite. I was like completely to begin with, completely terrified and afraid of my wife's suggestion that she wanted to have a home birth. I think a lot of dads have been the same. I think a lot of dads are the same. I've made myself a little plan here, so I'm going to try and systematically read out what I've written down. So first of all, what is home birthing? Yeah, so home birthing, it just means having your baby at home, not going to hospital, not rushing off in an ambulance. That's what it means. Yeah, uh, and that's the whole thing, right? Is that in a nutshell, in a nutshell, the thing is that once you got this is something that was explained to us when we did a hypnobirthing course. Once you've got like the fight or flight mentality, and that's kind of like, oh, fight or flight, isn't it? Like if you're like in the jungle and you see a tiger, oh my god, tiger, fight or flight, run away, and the adrenaline starts going, and then you either run or fight. So the same thing. Well, yeah, that's one mentality, and the other mentality is like, I'm relaxed, calm, chilled, and when you come to having a baby, you need to be relaxed, calm, and chilled. You need to be let those muscles go and let that baby come out. Whereas if you're like tightening up, then you're squeezing it in, and the baby isn't going to come out. And the whole act of like rushing and panicking, and Nino, 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 in the ambulance, and then you on a stretcher, rushed into the hospital, and there's bright lights, and it's like there's all these people you don't know, and there's nurses sticking their hand up you. Oh my God, and it's like it's not conducive. This is the whole point. It's not conducive to staying relaxed, calm at home where you're at peace. You've got your nice music on, the lights are low. You've got your husband, or if you don't want your husband, a chosen birth partner, someone who a friend you've trusted, and you've been through the, through the pregnancy with them, doing some training, getting ready. And so if you're at home, then this is conducive to being relaxed and allowing that, well, I know it's a bit crude, but this is an example that the hypnobirthing teacher gave, which was it's like having a poo. If you want to do a poo, you've got to relax. You've got to let that poo come out. And although it's a different orifice, but you can't. You can't compare a baby to a poo, but it's the same. Something coming out, evacuating from the body. But yeah, in terms of hypnobirthing being wacky and like a bit too out there, and then originally I thought it was, and I'll tell you my reasoning. On this side, I was saying, okay, go to the hospital, safe, professionals on hand to help, all expensive equipment. If anything goes wrong, there's a whole hospital next door to sort it out. That's on one extreme, and then look, home birthing is on the other extreme. You're out on your own. If anything goes wrong, there's nobody to help. Anything could go wrong. All this, all this kind of. So it seems like, well, one extreme or the other. But then what changed that for me was we found out about something called what did he call it? Free birthing. We found out about free birthing, which is something which could be considered a bit out there, which is mothers, ladies are go out into nature, and they might go to a forest or a river or in the sea, and maybe they're on their own, or maybe they have some friends with them, but they're going out there, and they're just having a baby, and so such a thing goes on. And I've seen some videos actually of on YouTube. There's a lady. She was in the forest. She was in a kind of a commune, a hippie commune in America, and she was having a baby. They had a bathtub, like a big metal bathtub, in just outside in the woods with the trees around. And she started going to labor, and the father he started filling. She started waters broke, started having the contractions. Father, he started to fill up the bathtub with some nice hot water, and yeah. So and there was an older lady there as well, who she seemed to know what she was doing. She was like a midwife. So there's this kind of, when you put that into the picture, it gives you a different perspective. Then you've got like hospital on this side, and then you've got this kind of free birthing on this side, and then that leaves you with your home birthing in the middle as the normal thing, the normal everyday kind of thing, and it shifts the hospital over to the extreme, which is where it really is, because it is an extreme, intense birthing experience. If you're either by choice or not by choice, you go and go down that road, and you have your baby in the hospital, where it is an intense experience with the whole thing. So yeah, birthing, it's not a medical emergency. It's not like you've just chopped your leg off, or you've had a crash or something in your car. It's something that shouldn't be in that category. It should be considered as something that is more of a everyday occurrence. And whilst there does need, I mean, I agree, there does need to be training and experience, and people need to be sensible. It isn't beyond the realms of possibility for even someone like me. I'm not a nurse. I'm not a doctor. We got ourselves really clued up because we wanted to feel comfortable and minimize our anxiety and be ready, and it worked out. It worked out for us, and this is the whole thing. It worked out for us. My wife, she really wanted our first child, Palika. She's 5 now, so we've actually got a doula. We got a doula the first time, paid the doula, but it just didn't work out. My wife got sick before she was due to baby. She was actually in hospital for a few months, and so she was in the hospital already, and so we had the baby in hospital. But she really wanted to have a home birth, and but it didn't work out. So then the second time, she was pregnant. We were then like more determined. Well, she was. I still wasn't on board with the idea. This is why my story is for dads. It's a story for dads who were like me, skeptical, worried, anxious, doubtful about home birthing. But the second time, yeah, it worked out. It worked out, and we had the baby at home, and that's what I'm going to talk about. We got a pool. We did a hypnobirthing course. I'm going to tell all about that. But yeah, it all began with a couple, friends of ours, a couple from Edinburgh, a Lithuanian couple, and I think they had their first child home birthed, and the second child definitely they told me all about that one. But the dad, Lucas, he gave me this book, you see, because he knew my wife wanted a home birth, and he'd had a home birth, and so he gave me this book. He gave me this book, Husband Coached Childbirth by Dr. Bradley. He's an American doctor. So he gave me this book, and like I do with most books that I get, I just, by the way, this isn't my house. I'm in somebody else's house. These books all belong to somebody else. But yeah, I got this. I'm just borrowing his computer. I got this because he's got a good computer with a good camera. I got this. He gave me this book, so I just stick it on the shelf. Stick it on the shelf. I put it on my bedside table, and it was sitting there because probably as soon as early on in the pregnancy, they knew my wife was pregnant. So I had it for a good few months. It was probably about 6 months, and it was on the bedside table. And then just one night, so my wife was already, would have been due in 3 months from that point. The book's there on the bedside table. Maybe I'll have a quick flick through, have a quick perusal, have a look at it. And I started at the first page like you do. Started reading through, like and then I'm like, it began to dawn on me that we were actually going to have a baby. I just began to realize, oh my God, oh my God, we're having a baby. And I began to understand the kind of magnitude of what is involved. And also considering that my wife is saying, I want to have a home birth, she'd always been saying it, I want to have a home birth, want to have a home birth. And I was just like, always like, I don't even really want to think about it, if that's okay. But like I read this, and then I realized what was involved in having a home birth, and then it was like, oh my God, we're going to have to really get ourselves in gear, because starting to read the book, it made me realize we've got a lot of work to do if we do want to have a home birth. And it was my wife's desire. I'm a husband. It's my duty to fulfill her desire. And that's the thing, is that so many, the book explains, so many women have their child, have their baby in the hospital, and they don't have a good experience. They get anesthetized and drugged up, and so many times they end up having to have a C-section, or there's all kinds of things, with anesthetics and stuff. And anyway, the result of all of that is that a lot of women report that they it wasn't a nice time. And yeah, there's one story in there. There's a lady. She's like, she's pregnant. She's umming and ahhing. How am I gonna, what am I gonna do for having the baby? Am I gonna have go to hospital like most people? Or, oh well, I've heard a little bit about natural home birthing. Which one should I choose? So obviously the story is described in the book. She says, well, I'm gonna speak to both groups and get some feedback. So she finds a group of ladies who've had their babies in the hospital, and they all sing sing the same tune. They're all like, "I was horrible. The worst thing that ever happened to me was terrible. If it wasn't for the doctor with all of his painkillers, I just wouldn't have managed, and I wouldn't have been able to do it at all." So so this lady was like, okay, so that's what they all say. And then she goes to speak to a group of ladies who've all had natural drug-free, minimal drugs, natural home births, see what they have to say. And they all similar, they all had the same similar thing to say. And what did they say? They were like, it was the most wonderful thing that has ever happened to me. It was fantastic. It was, such an empowering experience. I didn't believe I was capable. I didn't think I could do it, but I did. I did it, with my own willpower, my own, body, I trusted my body, and we did it, and it was such a sense of achievement, such a sense of accomplishment, and that is actually something that these ladies carry with them for the rest of their lives, this miraculous, wonderful experience of home birth. So so the lady who's deciding which one is she going to choose, well, which one do you think she chose? Based on the feedback, she chose the natural home birthing. But like I say, you can't just go into it. You might pull it off, but I like to be prepared, and as well prepared as I possibly can be. Like like if you're going for an exam at school and you haven't done any revising, you could just try and wing it, and you might pass, or you might not. But better to revise, go over your studies of what you've done all year, and then you kind of feel comfortable, feel ready, competent. So yeah, I'm dividing up the content of the talk into 3 categories, which are for the home birth: equipment that's needed, number 1, physical preparation, that's you want to try and get as fit as possible. The mother needs to be as physically fit as he can be. And then the 3rd category is the education, which is the main thing, really, like getting psychologically prepared, mentally prepared, get as much knowledge as you possibly can, get educated, getting ready. So those 3 categories. So I'll do the first one, which is equipment. So we got a birthing pool, we hired it, and it's quite expensive, but it's an investment. Like I say, the wife wants it, the home birth the birthing pool is gonna make it really good, and like, you know, you can't put a price on your wife's happiness, so it's worth spending money on a birthing pool. So we got a birthing pool, and advice for anyone who's getting a birthing pool is that as soon as I got it, I pumped it up, and it came with an electric pump. Pumped it up, and there's a hole in it. There was a hole. So I'm glad I prepared. You know, I'm glad I did it beforehand. And yeah, I had to fix it with like a little puncture repair kit, like you get for a inner tube for a bike, something similar to that. Then I pumped it up again, and then it held. It held, so that was good. And then we filled it up with water, and everyone got in it. My wife got in it, my 5-year-old got in it, and so they could just relax, play in it. And I knew that I was going to be able to, you know, when it came to the point, because that was the thing. My Lithuanian friend who gave me the book, he also had a birthing pool, but he didn't have a practice run. He got it. It was like in a box or a bag, and he not practiced pumping it up and filling it up. And it came to the moment when his wife went into labor and whatever, the waters broke, and then, you know, all of a sudden he was like, "Oh my God, got to get the birthing pool out." And he was you know, he was faffing about, didn't exactly know, you know, what how to do it all. And, you know, along with the stress of having a wife who's, you know, having a baby, then in the end, by the time he got it pumped up and filled with water, she'd already had the baby. You know. So so he advised me. He says, you know, pump it up first and fill it up. And what I discovered actually is that none of the thingies that go on the taps actually fitted. None of them fitted on any of our taps. Not on the kitchen tap, not on the bathroom sink tap, not on the bathroom bath tap. And so that's another reason why it's good that I did it a practice run, because I had to make a kind of my own tap adapter, which was quite simple. It was just an old toothpaste tube, cut off the bottom, a Jubilee clip, and then you could just put that over the bathroom tap, tighten up the Jubilee clip, then put the hose pipe connector onto the end of the toothpaste tube. And then I didn't turn it on full blast because I didn't want to, could have blown it off. But I, you know, I didn't turn it on full blast, and then it worked. It worked. So yeah, we had the practice run with the pool, and then other equipment we got along the way was we got a birthing ball. I had to get two actually. The first one I got was too small, then because you need a really big one, and that was going to help her with like exercises and stuff. And then yeah, because the NHS they offer a home birthing service in the UK, so they dropped off their air and gas and a big suitcase with medical equipment in it, like these big pads if you're bleeding and stuff to put on. So yeah, that was the equipment. There may have been other bits and bobs, but no, that's pretty much it. Right, section 2, physical preparations. So yeah, you know, that one thing we have to realize is that having a baby is pretty much like running a marathon. It's you know, a long distance endurance event. And I used to do long distance running, so I kind of, well, I knew that a bit about the nutritional aspect of not taking big meals but having small snacks to keep, and like high energy, like things like dried fruit is good, keeping your energy up. See, one thing that happens with going into the hospital and all that is that they don't want you to have anything to eat. And the reason for that is because there's a possibility that you might need to go under some kind of general anesthetic or something like that. And then at that point you can vomit. And if you vomit and you've got stuff in your stomach, you're going to choke. So because there's a a small possibility, but it's only a very small possibility that that might happen, then for that reason they say, well, we don't want anybody to eat anything. But the result of that is that, you know, you're going through a long distance endurance event, and you're not eating any food, so you're going to get weaker and weaker, and you're going to run out of energy, and you're going to be like, oh, like if you're trying to run a marathon and you get to like, you know, 15 miles and you're knackered. Oh, I can't do it anymore. You need to keep eating. So it's the same, yeah, it's the same, eating and drinking. And if you're staying at home, then it's yeah, it's easier to be in control of what's happening, you know, with your birthing experience. And so yeah, we had like little, yeah, we had a drink. I had a drink for her with a straw so she could drink, because she couldn't necessarily be able to have a head back, you know. But I was on hand with a drink. But yeah, in terms of physical preparation, then yeah, I mean, we had 3 months to go to get. I realized, you know, we had 3 months to go to get my wife as physically fit as possible. When it dawned on me that this is what was happening, so we started going walking almost every day, around some like fields near us, with Balika was on the shoulders, my wife, Bubakti, with the big belly, walking around. Yeah, walking every day. Walking's good. And then as well, it was the middle of the lockdown actually, so I mean, I called up the leisure centre, but there were a lot of the like classes that they usually have went on. Like we tried to get her in for aquafit, and there's actually, I think, aquanatal classes, some kind of special exercises for pregnant ladies in the swimming pool. Well, that wasn't on either. So anyway, but we could go swimming. We could go swimming. We managed to go swimming maybe twice a week, I think. But we were going swimming as well, so that was good. And my wife could swim up and down to get fitter, and then as well as all the exercises. Well, there's exercises with the birthing ball, and it's not just bouncing. There's other exercises to do. I can't remember them all because it was like, you know, 18 months ago. And then there's other exercises to do, like all the muscles. You know, like when you're holding your pee. Like if I just hold in my there's that muscle. I think it's called like the pelvic floor or perineum or something like that. This muscle, so you can strengthen that muscle, and these all these muscles around there, you want to try and strengthen them with exercises and all these different exercises. We downloaded it's like a little booklet with about 20 different exercises. So we were going through all them as well to get physically stronger, ready for the big day. So the third section of this talk is education, and this is the main bit. And I've numbered my points here. So the first point is changing the mentality, and the mentality needs to be changed. And I'm talking about myself, my experience, from just one of complete anxiety, like, oh my God, she's having a baby, and oh my God, she wants to have it at home, like this kind of thing. From this anxiety, changing how to change that from that, you know, position of anxiety to one of feeling competent, ready, you know, prepared, and actually by the time we had finished all of our preparation and education, I was the one who was, she was always okay with it. She'd already had one baby and she'd done quite well. I think she only had a few painkillers like paracetamol, and she had just had gas and air. This was the first time in the hospital, so she was confident in her body, and she wasn't in anxiety. It was me who was in a lot of anxiety, and that anxiety can spill over, you know, onto your partner. So the hypnobirthing course and the education is mainly, I was the one who benefited the most from it. And yeah, so that's the main change. Two, and then so then we got a hypnobirthing tutor, again quite expensive. And I mean, yeah, I think the hiring the birthing pill, I think it was like 80 quid, or it might have been 100 quid. But doing the hypnobirthing cost was like 300 quid, it might have been 200 or 300 quid. We could have gone and done it in a with other couples who were doing the course to get and do it with them. Then it would have been cheaper, gone to like a community centre or something like that. Because it was a lockdown or some kind of partial lockdown, you know, all the rules were changing all the time. So I didn't know exactly what was going on. I can't remember. But so instead we paid for our own like private tuition. So she came to our house, which was quite nice actually. Perhaps another 100 quid, but it's quite nice. And she came in and we had all of our classes like in our front room. And yeah, my mum came to take Palika out to the garden centre for lunch whilst we had the classes. So that was really nice. So we had these these classes, and one of the first things she explained, and it is to do with the role of the husband of the or the dad or the partner, you know, which is my role. And if you're a dad, it can be your role, which is like a mother. She usually has a birthing partner, and quite often, like you know, I hear that quite often they'll choose one of their female friends. Someone who's had babies himself, you know. But I mean, particularly this book, you know, the husband coached childbirth really recommends that the birthing partner should be the dad. Birthing partner should be the dad. Doesn't have to be the dad, but you know, it's if you're a dad, you know, I mean, I'm a dad. We want to say we want to say I want to be the birthing partner. I want to, you know, I want it, you know, express that enthusiasm to take on that role and be involved and be, because that's the thing, isn't it? You know, you're the dad or I'm the dad. You know, it's out. You know, we've had the we've had sex with our partner and we're involved. You know, we're involved. We're involved, so we should take responsibility. Take that responsibility. Take the bull by the horns and say, yeah, we you know, I'm with you. I'm with you. You know, say that to your partner. I'm with you all the way. You know, yeah, I want to be there. I want to help. You know, this is good. You know, it's good to be to make that decision. You know, and so one of the things that Katie, she was called, lovely lady from Glasgow, and she explained that she told us, like, you know, imagine you're living in the cave, you're a caveman, you know, you're living in a cave, and the thing is that when any animal starts to give birth, whether it's a deer or a gazelle on the savannah, you know, it's a vulnerable time, you know, and like the mother is like looking around, like, and you know, hoping there's no tigers or lions, you know, because once that baby gazelle pops out, it's really vulnerable. That's like the weakest point, the most vulnerable point of when so susceptible to attack. So it's like it's a kind of it's an anxious time, and the gazelle's looking around. And it's the same, you know, in all of the members of the animal kingdom. You know, we're also animals. So the human mother, it's a vulnerable time, and she's if you're a caveman back in the day, then the mother's having the baby, and she's also a bit worried. You know, if there is a bear comes, she can't run away. You know, she's stuck there. She's having a baby. You know, so at that point in particular, perhaps of any other time in her life, you know, she wants the man there with the spear at the entrance of the cave. You know, any bears coming here? No, you're not coming in with the spear. So that's our role. That's our role, is to protect. First role is to protect, like just like the first role of government is defense, you know. So the first role of the husband is to protect. So got to get ready with your spear there and protect her, so she feels safe and protected. And so yeah, Katie talks about that. She also talks about this. Yeah, I've already mentioned the difference between the fight and flight mentality, or the calm meditative mentality, which is, you know, what is needed, the relaxed. That's conducive to having a good birthing experience. And yeah, part of education is yeah, you know, we want to educate. You want to, with same with any kind of education on any kind of topic, is like, you know, you're trying to teach yourself something, trying to learn something. You want to get as much information as possible. So, you know, we don't, and yeah, we might be prompted to do it, or some people might suggest it, but we take them up on their suggestions, you know. So people say, yeah, watch as many videos as you can. So we're watching other videos on YouTube of other positive home birth stories, and yeah, reading in this book and other books about home birthing, and getting the home birthing teacher. So, you know, it's like you know, you could like, well, there's two approaches, and one is like, when, okay, what is the minimum I could do to be prepared for this? No, you want to say, what is the maximum, what is the most I can, you know, invest in this to get as much competency and knowledge as possible. So from as many sources as possible, getting as much information as you possibly can about what's going to happen and what might happen, what could happen, and as many, all the different possibilities, so that you're at least mentally prepared, even if you're not physically prepared for what might happen. And yeah, and also at that time we were very lucky, actually, because I was volunteering on a farm, which is actually just over there. It's a community farm, and I was working there, like I've been working there for years, actually, 15 years. But and we get a lot of other people who come up and volunteer just for maybe a summer. So just at that time, when my wife was pregnant, it just so happened it was a lovely couple who came up, Amanda and Drew, they were called. And I think I mentioned to Amanda about my home birthing book and my wife's plans to have a home birth. And then she said, "Yeah, well, okay, well, you know, I've done a couple of home births." And we were like, "Really?" She was like, "Yeah," and we're like, "Wow, well, tell her, you know, tell us all about that." So it's really good. She said that her brother, I think she has two brothers, and either her brother or her sister, and so in her family, she'd had a couple of home births, and she said maybe it was her brother with his partner, and they'd had their first baby in a tent. They were still living at home. Maybe he was still living at home, so they had a bell tent. They bought or hired a big bell tent and a nice big tent, and they had the baby in the garden. And it was just them. It was just them. So they must have been really confident and in their abilities to do that, and they did it, and they were successful, and it was everything was great. So that's great. So she told us about that, and then she told us about, and then maybe another brother of hers, or maybe it was the same couple having the second child. They invited her to come along to be there, and that baby was born in the bath at home, and so she was there for that. And either there was that baby or another baby that she told us about, but actually she said how the baby was born in his or her, still in a birthing pool, in the amniotic. I don't know if I said that right. In the sac, still in the amniotic sac, and how like as it came out, then the sac came out and the baby was inside, and then the baby actually opened the bag itself with its nail. So the baby came out and then opened the sack and said, hello, here I am. So she told us these stories, and that was encouraging as well, very encouraging. Isn't it? Because that's the thing. Read books, watch videos of someone talking about their experience. Perhaps someone's from another part of the world, Australia or America, but like having someone like actually telling you their stories in the flesh, face to face, is it has more punch, it has more impact. So it was really good hearing from Amanda and Drew about their experiences. Another thing that we did with the home birthing, with the hypnobirthing teacher, was positive affirmations, and we had them stuck on the back of our um, bathroom door. So every time you went in there, you could read them. And there were all the ones like things like I should have brought them. Maybe I could have actually given you a few more, but off the top of my head, I can just remember a few of them. Ones like I trust my body, I trust my baby, I trust my body, I trust my baby, I trust my body, I trust my baby. You say it over and over again, because that's the thing when you've got this like negative mentality, which I had, and my wife didn't really have that, but maybe perhaps a lot of other ladies do have, but by repeating it, it's kind of like, well, it's like mantra meditation. I trust my body, I trust my baby, I trust my body, I trust my baby, I trust my body, I trust my baby. You can kind of brainwash yourself to I trust my body, I trust my baby, because you can trust your body and you can trust your baby, and as a 90% of the time it's going to be fine. There won't be any complications. Trust my body, I trust my baby. Other the positive affirmations, can't remember anymore. So another thing we did with the hypnobirthing teacher was we actually did get hypnotized, because that was the thing with hypnobirthing. I was like, hypnobirthing? What is that? It sounds a bit that sounds a bit wacky. Hypnobirthing. I'm like, yeah, hypnobirthing. But yeah, the actual main content of the course, it isn't really anything to do with hypnotizing. It's all to just basic, solid, good information, practical stuff. But yeah, and so yeah, it's all really good, and it's considered hypnobirthing. The hypnobirthing course is considered like the kind of, in the UK at least, it's considered like the standard solid foundation for a home birth by the medical professionals. They consider this kind of hypnobirthing syllabus that's offered in the UK as they respect it. That's what we found. They respect it. But yeah, part of it was getting hypnotized, and we got this. Yeah, because it's quite funny, isn't it? I mean, getting hypnotized. I mean, yeah, you see people on stages, don't you, getting hypnotized to like eat an onion. This and it's like say that it's an and tell you, the hypno guy tells you it's an apple, and they're like, it's an onion. And they're like, oh, eat this onion. But yeah, we were at home, so it was just the two of us, and we got hypnotized. And we were like in this hypnotized state, and then like we did some like breathing. It was really relaxing. It was really nice, actually, really really nice to be in such a home and comfortable environment, and to get hypnotized. But what she did was she did this. She kind of programmed our brains where we could say a word, and then by saying that key word, it would bring us back to that completely relaxed state. So my word was just relax, and I think it still works actually. If I just say the word relax, because I've been hypnotized to relax, when I say the word relax, it just makes me really relaxed. I think it works as well if anybody else says the word to me as well. They say relax, and I just relax, because I've been hypnotized. My brain's been programmed like that, reprogrammed. Another thing the hypnobirthing lady taught us about was a bit about the legalities of how it works, if you're in the hospital, and how it's always good to buy yourself some time, and not rush into decisions, and if the doctor or a nurse says, oh, I think we should do this, or inject this, or we should do that, you can say, well, let us think about that. let's just, can we, for example, like, if you want to get, they might say, oh, we think you should be induced. Oh, you're 2 days overdue. Another interesting thing about that is she said that, in the UK, is it 44 weeks or is it 42 weeks? Maybe it's 42 weeks in the UK. It's like, okay, now it's time. But she said, well, that's not the same everywhere. Maybe she said, like, maybe in other countries, maybe France, maybe in France it's 43 weeks, or and somewhere else it's 44 weeks, or and somewhere else maybe it's 37 weeks, and then you expected, oh, now it's time. So then when you're over that time, oh, you start getting a bit anxious, and then the nurses say to you, well, we think you should be induced. So then we was explained to us that when they say that, you say, well, let us, have a think about it. We'll go home and have a sleep on it, and we'll let you know tomorrow. So just buy yourself more time, because there's this thing, isn't it? It's called the cascade of interventions. You're all you get suppose you do go to hospital, and the adrenaline's pumping, and you're all tensing up, and then because you're tensing up, they're like, oh, well, now we need to, because you're tense and the baby's not coming and it's taking too long, and then they're like, well, we need to do something. The baby's in limbo. We need to do something, and then I don't know what they do, but basically the doctors start to take over, take control of your body, and like, I mean, if you get anesthetized, you lose all feeling you can lose all feeling in your lower half of your body, so you can't push anymore, you can't do anything. And then that, I mean, our first baby, they had forceps, pulled her out, and one way or another, this cascade of interventions, it kind of, it starts with like a small intervention, but even just like having ladies like do the vaginal inspections and see how far wide you are, all we things like wanting to check the baby's pulse and do all these kind of checks. They're always wanting to do all these checks, but the thing is, whilst all these checks are going on like regular, if you're having a check every 15 minutes, it's like another kind of like interference really with the mother, who is just trying to relax and let it happen. And every time someone, a nurse is coming in to check something, it's like, oh, tensing up again, and it's just, so it just anyway, I mean, I just think that once you position yourself and decide, like, we want to at least try and have the baby at home, you're giving yourself the best chance of having a smooth delivery, and you feel more in control of what goes on in your own home. Once you transfer to hospital, you do feel obliged. You shouldn't have to, but you do feel obliged to accept suggestions the doctors and nurses are making to you, and you feel kind of obliged, to take their advice. And well, I don't want to be too harsh. I know the NHS is like struggling for space and resources and beds, and so okay, one nurse, I know a lady who's been a nurse for 20, 30 years. She's been a nurse for a long time, but she says over that time it has changed a lot, and it's a lot more pressured and more about money. That's what she said to me. I don't know if that's a harsh thing to say, but that kind of gentleness and isn't care about being like gentle. But I haven't been to hospital many times, but the impression I got was that nurses were always very, very kind, caring people, just to have taken up that profession. They kind of, most of them have that in them, that nature to be kind. And isn't that what's really needed, isn't it? It's for people to get better. I know you need, like, medicines and stuff as well, but people being kind, I think, helps a bit. What else have we got on the list here? Oxytocin. We've got a lesson about oxytocin. oxytocin is this natural happy hormone, and skin to skin, when you're like skin rubs on skin, this natural happy hormone is released. So she was saying that like when the mother's having the baby, you need to feel this like happy hormone. So hugging your partner and making her feel, massaging. I mean, that's when she went into labor, that was me. That was our main pain relief, was me massaging. We didn't want to have any like morphine around like that. It was just me in the pool with my shorts on, like rubbing her back for a few hours, until like the last kind of hour or so, when the midwife who was in the kitchen, she came through, and she perhaps for, I think, just the last half hour, she was helping her with the breathing for that last half hour to get the baby out. But up until then, it was me like massaging. But yeah, oxytocin is a big one actually, and it's about that, like the love. It's like a love hormone, and I think that hormone is released when you have sex, so that it's like, you feel like pleasure. And so yeah, you got to get the oxytocin flowing. It's good to get it flowing when she's having the baby. It just helps everything. 10, like lubrication helps everything. 10, number 11. Well, we're going to mention, well, when we told one of our doctors that we had a midwife who was allocated to us, and when we told her that we were planning to have a home birth, she told her doctor. So we were visiting the medical centre to see the midwife, and then the doctor said, "Well, I want to come in and have a word with this couple, because my wife was and still is on some like quite serious medication." So the doctor came in, and he was really, really heavy, as doctors can and should be. And he made it clear in no uncertain terms, if you have a home birth, you could die. That was his message. You could die, very risky. But yeah, my wife, quite stubborn, wasn't bothered. She was like, "I'm doing it. We're doing it." And it paid off. We did do it, and it worked out fine. She didn't die, and she was okay. But anyway, yeah, the doctor was very heavy with us. But I think, the fact that we'd educated ourselves as much as we could and done as much preparation as we could meant that, although, it is a fact that she could have died, and the doctor's not wrong for saying that, we were prepared as well as we could. And yeah, okay, yeah, life, there's always risks, isn't there? Every time you cross the road, you could get knocked over by a bus. Still, you don't want to take unnecessary risks. But we felt that, it wasn't a too big unnecessary risk, and my wife really wanted to have the home birth and have that whole experience, and the empowering experience, and so we did it. And another thing is, anyway, yeah, we're part of a religious community, and people, the leaders, preachers, they're always telling us that kind of thing anyway, like, oh, you're going to die, time to get your relationship fixed up with God today, because you could die tomorrow. So we were kind of used to people telling us that kind of heavy message anyway. Right, so where are we? Conclusion. The conclusion is that the 7 P's, proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. That's the 7 P's. I got taught that when I wasn't in the Navy, but I met some Navy guys. I was going sailing with some Navy guys. That's what they said. So it's the same. It's the same for home birthing. And in the case, yeah, always best to stay safe. Don't hold me responsible if you do have a home birth and it doesn't work out. I'm trying to give a positive birthing experience. My experience was very positive, but because of all the preparation that we did. But yeah, my friend who from Lithuania, who gave me the book, his second birth, his wife, she started losing blood after she'd had the baby, and she did have to go to hospital, like in an ambulance, so she didn't lose too much blood. So there's always risks, but I think 9 times out of 10, it's better to have a home birth. But like I say, in the UK, the NHS offer a home birthing service. So if you didn't know about it, it's worth taking advantage of and asking and getting it done if you're pregnant. And then what I can do to finish off is I can show these things. This is our birth plan. I could read through it. Oh, yeah, up stage, first stage, and then the second is a down stage. And then the third stage is after the baby's born. So up stage, first stage, 1, no induction, no water breaking. 2, mucus plug may be seen. 3, surges begin at a rate of 5-6 an hour. 4, call the midwife. Louise got a number for a heads up, let her know what's going on. If the labour starts in the morning, call grandma to come pick up Alika, take her to the park. That's what happened. Yeah. What happened was the labour started at night. I can't remember what time it was, but yeah, I think the waters broke 8 or 9 o'clock, something like that in the evening. Or she started getting like a first contraction. She thought it was one of these contractions that you just get through the in the build up to the actual labor. But when she said it, I just had a feeling that this is it, And so at that time, 8 or 9 o'clock, I said, well, I think it's going to be a long night. I'm going to bed. And I managed to get a few hours kip so that I could get up late and be with her through the whole thing. So that's what happened with us. Breathe through the surges using the 4 in, 8 out technique. Guru Bhakti, say positive affirmations, carry on with household duties, make some sweet balls in the kitchen. Number 9, resting between the surges because it might be a long haul. 10, when the surges are too strong, carry on, keep moving, walking around, doing the 16 birthing positions for labour. Steve, speak encouraging words to Guru Bhakti. Isn't that you think, well, speaking encouraging words, you think, well, what difference is that going to make? What influence is that going to have? But actually, it's really important. Actually, that you tell your partner, you tell her, yes, you can do it. You can do it. Keep going. You're strong. You're strong enough. You can do this. Especially when if the mother if her mind is coming up with saying negative things, you saying positive things is going to help her with that. So yeah, it's actually really, really important to say encouraging words. You can do it. You can do it. You are doing it. You're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. Like help her relax and keep the oxytocin flowing. Steve cuddling and smooching. Steve massage Guru Bhakti's back. Steve on standby with a water bottle for Guru Bhakti to sip. Guru Bhakti eating small snacks to keep energy levels up. The birthing cave should be in the front room with the birthing pool. Steve, fill up the birthing pool with the warm water. Steve, guard and protect the cave so Guru Bhakti feels safe. And yeah, we've got an understanding of the up stage and down stage. Now, part of the hypnobirthing course was that the lady explained it to us really well with a balloon. She had a pink balloon, and over the pink balloon she put a woolly hat, and she explained about the 2 stages. The up stage, this is all part of teaching us about the physiological changes that are happening as the woman is preparing to have the baby. So the up stage is when this is the womb here, shaped like this. The womb is shaped like this. So then the up stage is the muscles there's muscles go around this way, and then muscles also that go around that way. So the up stage, the muscles that go that way are pulling these muscles all up to the top like this. And this goes on for quite a few hours. All the muscles are coming up to the top of the womb. And then there's a downstage. The muscles form into a hard lump. And then the downstage is like the last part of the labor. Boom, boom, boom. the down stage, the muscles are coming down and pushing the baby out. So it's good to know what's happening. Downstage, when the surgeries reach 2 or 3 or 4 every 10 minutes, call the midwives again. And then the midwife should be based in the kitchen, just checking every now and again, and make nice, safe, comfortable, warm, relaxed, peaceful atmosphere. Put the heating up, make sure it's nice and warm. Low lights, relaxing music, Radesh mellows, incense burning, a natural vaginal birth, no pain relief, yes to gas and air, Steve father to catch the baby. That was me. It didn't actually happen. I was busy all through the labour, massaging, and then it just came to like the last bit, and I was supposed to do this kind of like religious ritual when the baby popped out. And so I just checked my phone to like, okay, what do I need to do for this religious ritual? And then the midwife had come in and she said, she kind of, oh look, Steve's not doing anything, he's just checking his text messages. So she said, oh, can you go and like, get some more hot water or something like that? So I went out to get more hot water, and then just as I came back, then the baby had come out. The baby had come out, and it was actually a bit of a disaster. Well, it wasn't a disaster, but it was a minor emergency, which is that the baby had come out, and the midwife had caught the baby, and then my wife was so excited to see the baby that she turned around, and as she turned around, she ripped the umbilical cord, which broke in two, and a lot of blood spurted over the room. And that's just as I came back into the room with the blood. And then so the midwife just at that point was like, she got hold of it. She was like, clamp, clamp, like, and I was just about to go get a clothes peg, or one of those things that you use to like seal packets of food. But then one of the other nurses came up with some kind of bulldog clip or something, and then clamped the so the blood didn't all come out. And so I didn't get to catch the baby, and I didn't get to do my ritual either, but never mind. So then the third stage is just one after the baby's born, and it says so skin to skin time with mother, delayed cord clamping. That I don't think that happened, did it? Because the cord snapped. And do the Jatakama or Nama Karana name giving religious rituals. Didn't happen. 3, breastfeeding. 4, delay, weighing and measuring. 5, keep the umbilical cord. 6, injection to help deliver the placenta. Yeah, we wanted to deliver the placenta because of my wife's medication, there was a risk that if she did lose a lot of blood, the level of the medication in her body could go down, which wouldn't be good. So we wanted to deliver the placenta quickly, which reduces the risk of losing a lot of blood. So we had an inject. That was the only kind of like like a druggy kind of medical thing we did do. Injection to help deliver the placenta, and then we delivered the placenta and we kept it. I mean, my wife wanted me to like plant a tree, but it's still in the back garden. And I've got plans to plant a blackberry bush actually, so I'll maybe do that. This was the hypnobirthing course. All different things is really good. And yeah, we had these things as well, which are really good. Pictorially, I'll just hold it up. You can read it all. To show the midwives, so at least they know that, we know not that we know what we're doing, but at least they can see that, we've prepared and that we're, because otherwise they just want to take over. They want to take over everything and do it however they think's best and how they want to do it. But we have our desires as well, right? And we should be allowed to express our desires. And if it's not an emergency, then why couldn't we just, why can't we do it the way we want to do it? So yeah, home birth, natural birth. I'm feeling positive about my birth. Hands off. What does it say? Quiet, please, no chatting. Low light levels, special. No eating and drinking, freedom of movement. Don't break my waters. I don't know what this is. No syntocinon augmentation. Not sure what that is. Cervical examinations by maternal request. Yeah, because otherwise, one thing the teacher said is that when the nurse will put a finger up to see how wide dilated it is, and she said it's not like they're like really measuring it. It's like one finger, two fingers wide, three fingers wide, four fingers wide. The mother can do that herself, just see how wide dilated she is. It's not like rocket science. So yeah, check baby's heartbeat by maternal request. Not that they just come in and check it every like 15 minutes, No CCG monitoring, no fetal scalp electrode. Don't know what that is, but anyway, yeah, it sounds like some electrodes that they stick on the baby's head to take some measurements. Don't offer me pain relief, gas and air. I've had one previous birth. Ask permission. My consent is important. These are good. These are good things. And music to be played. Please don't tell me when to push. Baby born slow and gently. How to catch a baby. Don't wash or wipe my baby. I don't know. That's okay, isn't it? It's okay to do that. Skin to skin. No vitamin K. I think we did have. I can't remember if we had vitamin K or not. I can't remember. But yeah, that's everything. Yeah. So good luck. Good luck if you're gonna have if you're pregnant, you're gonna be having a baby. If you're a mum, good luck. And if you're a dad, get involved. Come on, let's dads can do this. Dads can help. Be the man. Be the man with the spear, protecting the cave, and yeah, and your partner, she's going to have a fantastic experience. And get all clued up about it. Get this book. Have a look through that. Get yourself trained up. 7 P's, and that's that. Yeah, fantastic. Great. How do I stop this video? Stop recording.